What if I develop a serious illness? Health anxiety isn't defined by just medical symptoms. Sometimes we say, that's not health anxiety, that's anxiety about health. Health anxiety says, I must figure out this immediately or something terrible is going to happen. It's defined by a pattern of persistent anxiety about health. If you recognize yourself in this pattern, you're not alone. You notice a sensation in your body, maybe a headache, maybe a strange feeling in your chest, maybe a random ache that shows up out of nowhere. For most people, the thought might be, that's weird. But if you struggle with health anxiety, the thought doesn't stop there. It turns into, what if this is something serious? What if I'm missing something? What if this is the early sign of something dangerous? And before long, a small sensation turns into a full investigation. Let's be honest, everybody thinks about your health, and that is completely normal. Everyone experiences symptoms, everyone occasionally worries about their body, and everyone wants to stay healthy and avoid serious illness. At least most people, you'd imagine, right? If you feel a pain in your chest, if you notice a new lump, if you have a symptom that doesn't go away, it makes sense to think about it. Our brains are designed to pay attention to physical signals. The brain's job is simple: detect danger, prevent harm, and keep the body alive. So when you notice symptoms, that isn't the problem. The difference with health anxiety isn't that someone cares about their health. The difference is how the mind responds to uncertainty about the body. Health anxiety isn't defined by just medical symptoms. It's defined by a pattern of persistent anxiety about health. More specifically, health anxiety can be defined by an ongoing fear about having or developing a serious illness that continues even when the current medical findings do not support that conclusion at that time. That anxiety can show up with symptoms or without. Sometimes people will notice a physical symptom first and then catastrophize it to believe that there's something really wrong with them. Or other times, it can just start with a thought like, what if I develop a serious illness? Either way, the mind becomes highly focused on health-related threats. The cycle can often look like you notice a sensation or a health anxiety thought, uncertainty ensues. The mind tries to solve that uncertainty by doing things like checking symptoms repeatedly, scanning the body for sensations, Googling possible conditions, seeking reassurance from doctors or loved ones, or even monitoring whether the symptoms change. Is it different now? Is it different now? Each of these behaviors feels like it should provide some sense of safety, but over time, they actually just train the brain to treat health uncertainty as something urgent and dangerous. Now that we know what health anxiety is, we also have to talk about what health anxiety is not. There's two important things health anxiety does not mean. First, health anxiety does not mean symptoms are made up. Bodies naturally produce sensations all day long. Muscle tension, heart rate changes, digestive sensations, head pressure, random aches and pains. These sensations are real. When the brain becomes highly focused on them, they can simply become much more noticeable and alarming. Secondly, health anxiety is different from dealing with genuine medical conditions. If someone has confirmed illness and is worried about managing it, that's a different situation. Sometimes we say, that's not health anxiety, that's anxiety about health. Health anxiety refers specifically to a persistent feel about illness that's not supported by current medical findings. Health anxiety feels convincing because the body is full of weird symptoms. Sensations change. Symptoms appear, then disappear. Minor issues can mimic serious conditions, and the anxious mind asks a powerful question. What if this one time something is actually wrong? The what if question keeps the investigation going. It's the doubt that spurs us on. The brain believes that more monitoring will create more safety, but it encourages behaviors like more checking, more reassurance, more researching, more symptom monitoring. But the more attention that the brain gives to the body, the more sensations that it notices. And the more sensations that it notices, the more anxiety that it produces. So the big question is, how do I tell the difference? And while that's a bit of a loaded question, there is one thing that we can talk about that might be helpful. Usually normal health concerns say things like, I'll keep an eye on the symptom and see how things go. Pretty flexible. Health anxiety says, I must figure out this immediately or something terrible is going to happen. One allows for flexibility and uncertainty. The other treats uncertainty as danger. The goal isn't to ignore your health. The goal is to change how the mind responds to uncertainty about your health, because uncertainty about the body will always exist. But anxiety grows when the mind believes uncertainty must be eliminated right away. If you recognize yourself in this pattern, you're not alone. Health anxiety is extremely common, probably even more common than the statistics say, since a lot of times people may be going back to the doctors over and over again, but maybe not always associate this with health anxiety. And it doesn't happen just because someone is irrational. It happens because the brain is trying very hard to do its job, protect you and your health. But when this protection turns into constant monitoring and investigation, the mind can get stuck in a loop of fear and checking and reinforcement of the fear. Learning to respond differently to that uncertainty is what helps break the cycle. So let's talk about a couple key takeaways. Health anxiety is this persistent anxiety about having or developing a condition, even if there's no supporting medical findings yet of that. Health anxiety can occur with or without physical symptoms, and just because it may be because of a place of anxiety doesn't make these symptoms associated with health anxiety any less real. They're not imagined, but they may not mean what you think that they mean. This is your chance to be able to take a step into uncertainty, to be able to, like we say in Overcoming Health Anxiety, live with fear, not in fear.